Hi, Angela Ray here. Today I hosted a Google Hangout continuing my coverage of the Flint water crisis. Joining me are digital journalist Jack Olmsted of Washington State, Michigan resident Mike Connell, and investigative journalist Schatzie Dudee as we discuss several articles she has written about the ongoing lead water crisis in Flint, Michigan.
This is happening all over the United States. But somebody in Michigan had the balls, they had the guts to get this to the media, and that's what it takes.
Yes, yes. I think what became really obvious to me is that the mainstream media really didn't touch on it, but once you scratch the surface, I came to realize there are hundreds of articles that local reporters did and local bloggers and people who are thoroughly embedded in that community. They provided so much information, you just had to know it was a problem. And I mean, I'm amazed at what they've reported.
Jack, were you surprised, back to what Schatzie was just saying, that there had been so many articles written, there had been conversations about what was going on, yet the mainstream media hadn't picked up on it?
Well, the mainstream media has been covering the story
Thanks to
for
Rachel.
For years and years. Well, Rachel picked up on it in December, but this has been a story that has been going on for years and years. 2010, 2004, when there was money put out to buy some lakefront property on Lake Huron to get the KWA, the Carinaundy pipeline built. So, but the mainstream press reports with a frame around the government and how this is going to be good. So I believe the mainstream media, especially in Michigan, are partly responsible for the situation that the Flint residents find themselves in, because they continue to beat the drum. The water is safe. The water is safe. It smells.
Mike.
It's discolored, but it's safe. And up until the middle of December, when the new mayor, Karen Weaver, made her declaration of emergency in the city, the mainstream media, the Flint Journal, they were still beating the drum of the government that everything's okay, that the water is safe.
So what you're saying is the mainstream media, it seems to me what you're saying is the mainstream media really didn't do its job. They just sort of parroted whatever was handed to them. This is a problem I have with the media.
They were lapdogs, they weren't watchdogs. And maybe they were watchdogs at some instance, but really the way they frame their articles, they always gave the government the last word. They would throw in a resident's quote, but they would have 4 quotes from the government or from an agency saying that, listen to the experts. These are the experts, and these are residents. They're kind of like a bubble-off plum here. So when you read their accounts, you really don't really get a sense that the residents had to, they weren't a credible source.
Let's bring Mike Connell into this. Mike, you live close to Flint.
Well, the media is not, I mean, I'm a little wary of mainstream media or liberal press because it's not monolithic. And particularly when you're talking about local newspapers, the Port Huron paper for years has said the KWA pipeline was a travesty and should be stopped, and it was a waste of money, and that the governors, Jennifer Granholm first and Rick Snyder later, had not taken their responsibility to protect the public interest and stop it. So that in that case, in that paper, is if either governor had listened to the Port Huron paper, this would have never happened. They would still be drinking water from Lake Huron. But in fairness, like Flint, when they first converted to the Flint River water, the Flint Journal wrote an editorial about how wonderful it was and how it was going to I was going to save money, and it was a smart move, and just gave it a ringing endorsement.